So students have joined?
Yes, sir. Almost all the students have joined, and rest of the students are watching it through Facebook. So, sir, first of all, I'd like to tell you that great managers are not born, but in fact, they are made. They are said to be the heart of the management, as they run whole lot of activities of a business enterprise in order to attain the goals. A manager is made by experience and knowledge of the various principles and functions of management. Sir, as a manager or as a director, please share your experience about the managerial skills required for the students, especially those who are studying hospitality management in Guru Nanak IHM, Kolkata.
A very good afternoon to all of you, my dear students and faculty members of Guru Nanak Institute of Hotel and Hospitality Management.
Thank you.
I'm really thankful to Professor Jayanta Ghosh, the Dean, who has been requesting me for quite some time to interact with the students of this great institution. In fact, yours is one of the best institutions in this area in the country, and it's very well known. So, so it's again an opportunity for me to meet, possibly for the first time, because I have lectured to diverse spectrum of the students. Mainly engineering, science, humanities, commerce, polytechnics even. But this is a great experience to be, with the students of hotel management and hospitality management. Now, as Professor Ghosh has pointed out, that he wanted that I should talk about that how to become a great leader, not necessarily in the area of hotel management or hospitality management, but then in general, what are the attributes or the characteristics of a great leader. Let me first tell you, in my opinion, the first thing about somebody who would be a very good leader of tomorrow in any area of your endeavor will be your knowledge and your skill in the area in which you are working. So this is extremely important, because in today's world, it is extremely important that you should know your profession. If it's hospitality management, you should know fully about the current status of hospitality management.
क्लास चालू कर दिया है जब जब क्लास हुआ तब तब एक जगह रहे नहीं है कभी उधर कभी इधर करते हैं 3-4 क्लास किए जो समझ में आया जो लगता है मेरे लिए सही है वही
Please unmute your microphone.
चलेगा आधार कार्ड ले लिया ना हाँ कहां जा एक मोबाइल है ना आधार चालू करने के लिए ऊपर को जाने के लिए नंबर
Students, you are requested to mute your microphone. Yeah, sir, please go ahead. Sir, please unmute your microphone. Sir, please unmute your microphone, sir. Your microphone is muted.
No, but then
Yes,
others are speaking.
Yes, yes. I'm just telling them to stop because some of the students are.
Okay.
It's okay now, sir. Perfect.
So the first thing as a professional is your knowledge about the domain in which you are working. Now this is important simply because of the fact that you must know the full details of what you are supposed to know as a leader. Because if you are not good at your own area of specialization or your own area, then you will never be a very good leader. For example, a leader in an industry must know about the full range of products, the manufacturing processes that the industry is making. Otherwise, he cannot be a good leader. So, in my opinion, this is the first attribute beyond everything else, that your domain knowledge base. Domain knowledge base means if you are in a hotel, if you are in the hospitality management area, you should know every bit of this domain. This is your domain of knowledge. I will give you, say, several examples of this. One of the most important examples is that of Dr. Kalam. You know, Dr. Kalam was one of the greatest, leaders. I'm not talking about the political leaders or as a president, but before that, in the realm of, the space science and technology and defense science and technology in India. How he could become, imagine that another big attribute of a great leader, he was Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. You might have heard of his name, Vikram
Yes, sir.
Sarabhai.
Yes, sir. We have heard of
Vikram
it.
Sarabhai is,
Yes,
you
yes,
have
sir.
heard at least about Mallika Sarabhai, who was a great dancer. So Vikram Sarabhai, he was the chairman of Indian Space Research Organization. So Vikram Sarabhai wanted to have somebody as a great leader who can, develop India's first rocket. You know when? It was in 70s, early 70s. That means almost 50 years back. So he wanted somebody who has got a very good leadership quality. Now, who were the persons who were desiring to become the director of this? Rocket is known as satellite launching vehicle in technical terms. That means the satellites will be placed over the rocket and the rocket will carry the satellite to a certain orbit. It will defy the gravity and then take it to the orbit where it will be placed. And once the satellite is placed there, then the satellite will be around the whole country. In fact, in India, currently we have got a large number of satellites. Our education we are getting, EduSat, through satellites. All the communications you are making through satellites. Satellite communication is extremely important. Remote sensing, you can immediately know how much amount of flood has taken place, again through satellites, known as remote sensing satellite. How much amount of, forestry is there in the country today? How do you get it? From satellite. So satellites and space technology, they are immensely important. So India needed two things. One is satellite. The second one is a vehicle which will carry the satellite to the space. This is known as a rocket or space launching vehicle. Dr. Sarabhai, he had 5, 6 names in his mind, and all the names, all of them were very, very qualified. They had their PhDs from, US universities and a very, eminent personalities. But then Dr. Kalam, he didn't even have any doctorate degree. He was simply a PG diploma that time from a college which was known as Madras Institute of Technology. Nobody knows that college. It's not even an IIT. So how did Vikram Sarabhai select him? Because Vikram Sarabhai selected him not on the basis of his qualification, nor on the basis of how many publications he had, but he could see the zeal in the eyes of Kalam. And he could see immediately, Dr. Sarabhai could understand that here is a person who will be able to deliver. So the first thing is, Dr. Kalam knew all the parts of the rocket. A rocket is not a small thing. Satellites it will carry. It's a big, big concept. There are so many systems, subsystems inside a rocket. So Dr. Kalam was chosen as the first director of satellite launching vehicle. It's known as SLV. SLV was our India's first satellite launching vehicle. Imagine that, as I said, it was middle of 70s, almost, as I said, 45 years back. And Dr. Kalam, let's see that what were his attributes. Number one, extremely hardworking. Dr. Kalam, I knew because in 78 I was there in ISRO in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center as an intern. I was from IIT Kharagpur. I was there for 3 months. Dr. Kalam, he used to sleep on a small cot inside his office. He could go home, he was a bachelor, he was staying in a lodge, and he could go home only on Saturday. Again on Saturday, he used to take all his clothes back, do the washing, take some food, do some cooking, and on Sunday evening, again he will be back to office. So whole week he will be inside the office. Working hours, 24 hours. Okay? Because it was a big challenge and it is a big responsibility which has been given to you. So the first attribute is you must know every detail of the system. Yours may be hospitality. So hospitality means that you have to know everything and you must be very, very hardworking. Professionalism. Professionalism is so important even in your area. In all the areas, you must be behaving like a professional. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to move up. Professionalism just doesn't mean that, okay, you have to be very well dressed with suit and with tie and all. No, not that. It's much more important than that. First thing is the self-discipline. For example, this is supposed to start at 4 o'clock and then many of you are coming at 4:07, 4:10, etc. So that is not a sign of professionalism. So professionalism is self-discipline. You must be very punctual in your habit and you must be absolutely and you must be, as I said that and you must be, true to your duties. So duty is extremely important whenever you and whatever you do. So this is the first thing. The second important point is your communication skill. Because unless you have got the communication skill, you cannot do anything. আমি একটা ওয়েবিনারে আছি পরে. So you must have the skill for communication, because remember that both communication means your speaking ability and writing ability also. Exactly. How to write, because after all, you have to also communicate with your with your superiors, with the CEOs of your company, or with the owner of the hotel, whatever it may be, enterprise. So your speaking ability is extremely important, and also the writing ability. And you have to communicate your thoughts to everybody. Remember that this is a very, very important attribute. Attribute means that is a very important property to become a good leader. So, fourth important point that comes to my mind is you should always be very, very positive. So, positive mindedness, remember that in your life, in your journey, in your work, every moment there will be lots and lots of problems, hindrances. You have got some ideas, you may not be, successful in the implementation of that idea. Because always remember that failure is the pillar of success. You need not be successful every time. So you should not be negative minded, because in our society today, one of the major problems is negative mindedness. We have got very, very small percentage of people who are positive minded. Come what may, we must do something positive. I'll tell you a story that inside a class, a teacher came and he told his students that, my dear students, today I will take a surprise test. So it's very funny, no? Teacher coming to the class and then saying that, okay. And I remember that one of my teachers, he used to tell that on Monday next, I will take you a surprise test. I mean, he was a very jovial and a very humorous teacher. Humor is also very important in life, and
Exactly.
especially to be a good leader. Now, this gentleman, he came to the class and then he started distributing the question paper to all the students. It was a class test. When the students got the question paper, inside the question paper, there was no writing. It was a blank white page, and inside the page, there was a small black dot. So he said that you write your answers. Nothing was written. What you have to do with that? Just simply white paper, inside that a dot. So everybody, all the students, they were looking at each other that what is this? I mean, where is the question? So some of the students asked the teacher, sir, where is the question? So teacher said that the question is there on the paper. You answer. So anyway, the students then started thinking, and then they wrote whatever came to their mind. Exactly after 40 minutes or 45 minutes, the students submitted their question paper to the teacher. So teacher looked at it, and then he started telling all the students, say roll number 1 has written that this is a small dot, its radius is this much, it's located at this position of the paper, etc., etc. So everybody had written in some of the question papers, the small dot, the ink had spreaded all around. So it's a dot with a spreaded ink. And then how the spreading of ink has taken place. So somebody wrote about that. So everybody had written all about that dot. All the students, about the different properties of that small, black dot. So teacher at the end, he said that, look, my dear students, this is a white paper on which there is a small black dot. And all of you have given your attention on the black dot only. You have not seen the whiteness. In our society also, There are so many, good things today, but then nobody cares for that. Whether it's in the media or in any field, if there is some black dot, that will be exaggerated, and that is one of the bad things. That is negativity. Try to be always positive. Positiveness, I can tell you that I was the director, was the vice chancellor of Bengal Engineering and Science University, Shibpur, and then I could make it that IIST Shibpur, which is today, an all India institute. Now, in that journey, I had to take the bill to be passed in Parliament. In Parliament, there are two houses. One is known as Lok Sabha, the other one is Rajya Sabha. Okay, so one is the lower house and upper house. Anyway, so it was so difficult that although the Union Cabinet had approved this long back, but then in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha those days, they were not running. Session after session, the MPs in our country, they are so bad, including, I still remember it was 2013, 2014 in the month of January. And then I had to go to the then our president, Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, who is now really suffering a lot.
Yes.
He is hospitalized in a
Yes,
precarious condition.
Yes.
So it was only Mr. Pranab Mukherjee I could find the rays of hope in him. We tried from Chipur for more than 5 years for this transformation. It was a very difficult job because it was a state university like Jadavpur University or Calcutta University. And Shibpur is the only university or institute in the whole country, only and only, which was transformed from a state university to a central university. There was not a second one. This was a unique university institute. And whenever I was going to Delhi, I stayed in the parliament talking to all the leaders of opposition, leaders of the ruling party, and I could find, how shallow these people are. Frankly speaking, this going to the Facebook, but then I could only hear negative voices that no, we are not going to allow any bill to be passed. And finally, I must say that I went because the whole country, all the leaders from the then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh to everybody, they were, the leader of the opposition, BJP, Trinamool, Congress, everybody was in Rashtrapati Bhavan because the whole issues on Telangana bill, Andhra Pradesh was being divided into two parts. The parliament was not running because the oppositions, they were not allowing the parliament to run. Imagine that I was given 2 consecutive days. I could go to Rashtrapati Bhavan. And imagine a situation, a person who was so positive and he had seen me, trying so hard, in spite of the fact that including the Prime Minister, everybody was sitting in the chamber of the visitors. And his secretary gave me 2 consecutive days, gave me the time. He said that not more than 2 minutes. I said that even 1 minute will do. And the whole country, everybody was in Rashtrapati Bhavan because they wanted finally they wanted that the president should do something. What is this, our bill? It was an insignificant bill, nothing, just an education bill. Hundreds of bills were there in the parliament. Still, he did it for us. And it was only because of that our bill was the only bill in the MHRD or Education Ministry which was passed in that session. I could see a sense of positiveness in him. Now, this is extremely important. You have to be hardworking. You have to be sincere and dedicated. You have to know your subject, your domain to be a good leader. And all the time, you have to remain positive. At times, I was also becoming, frankly speaking, a little bit, I was feeling so bad that things are taking such a long time. And if in that session the bill does not get passed, Shipwood will forever be destroyed. It will never be able to get that status. The leader of the opposition said, "Sir, we are not going to allow any bill, but then we are coming to power. So that time we'll do." I told him, I am not naming that person. He is no more now, but he was number 2 in Modi's cabinet. So I told him that even if you become the prime minister, you will not be able to do it. Because it needs from the state government to central government, and in our country, political personalities are only fighting with each other. So you must be absolutely positive. Remember that when I come back to Shipwood, I had to tell all my colleagues, my faculty members, my staff members, our students, one thing, and that is a poem from Tagore which says, "নিশিদিন ভরসা রাখিস হবেই হবে, ওরে মন হবেই হবে."
Great.
So have that confidence. Nishidin means whole day and night. Have the confidence that we will get it. We will win. Okay?
Okay.
Ore mon hobei hobe. And remember that you will get it. And this is one of the things. Imagine that on the last day of the parliament, last day, last hour, our bill could be passed. In the midst of terrible pandemonium inside the parliament. How could it happen? Obviously, or the then president Pranab Babu, he had helped a lot. But then it is your zeal, it is your mind which says that we must get it. Okay, so with absolute positiveness in mind, if you proceed, remember that you will get it. So in running an institution, in running an establishment, in running an industry, in running your, you are many of you may be even entrepreneurs or wherever you are working, please be positive minded. Never be frustrated. There should not be any word termed frustration in your life. Remember, life means that it's ups and downs. Many times you will succeed and many times you will fail. Without failure, there cannot be any success. And everybody has failed. Can you imagine that many of our big projects, they have failed? And through that failure, for example, our latest, the Chandrabhiyan, okay, that lunar mission, it failed. And it failed, yet we thought that, okay, we have gained a lot of experience about how to do it, launch it properly next time. So there will be a little bit of sadness in your mind, but then it should not lead to any kind of negativity. Now, for example, due to Corona, many of you may feel frustrated. Many of the young people may feel frustrated. Please remember that there is no space for frustration. There is no tunnel which is eternally long. Now it is darkness, that's fine. But at the end of the tunnel, there will be light. When the train is moving inside the tunnel, when we were small, I remember we used to get all on a sudden, it becomes all dark because the train has entered into a tunnel. There are a large number of tunnels when you come from Calcutta to, whether it is central, western India or to southern India. But then after some time again, the light comes. So remember that good days, bright days, happy days will come. All that you have to do is perseverance and tolerance. This is another important thing that you have to learn as a good manager, and as a good leader. What is that? That means you have to be patient. Patience is extremely important. Patience and tolerance. Tolerance and patience are two great virtues. And if you are patient, if you are tolerant enough, because let there be some problems, maybe that some people are scolding you, maybe that some people are talking bad about you, just don't take the lesson only from these, but then be positive. Always remember that success is waiting for you. It may take few months, it may take years, but at the end of the day, at the end of the tunnel, you will get. Do not be absolutely negative minded or frustrated. To become a great leader, we need another important thing, that is planning. If you just see our country, why it has come to this stage, it is because of the fact that we do not have any concept of planning. Whether it is, the town planning, we are going to build up a new city planning, whether in the family planning, whether in our educational planning, it's all ad hoc. So planning is extremely important. Even in a small way, you want to start a new hotel somewhere. How will you choose the space where you will have that hotel? There's so many considerations. So it has to be planned scientifically. So planning means scientific planning. You have to keep in mind that there are several factors which you have to very meticulously take into consideration. How big will be the hotel, or how big will be your hospitality, establishment, or how much amount of money is a big factor. While planning, you have to optimize the cost, because otherwise you will not be able to survive. And there are so many different things which have to be planned. So in my opinion, planning is a very important thing which every good leader must give enough importance with it. The next one is your relationship. See, must be a leader is good leader when the leader's relationship with his subordinates are extremely cordial. Extremely cordial does not mean that he becomes your, good friend and all. No, you have to keep a distance, because what we have seen, and many people they have experienced, that you have to keep a very slight distance. Do not become pally with him. But remember that is very well known to him, and remember that in your organization the employees are equally good to you. If somebody is not good at it, so you need not scold him. Every person, remember, every person has got some brighter side, some good points with him. It's not that somebody has got only bad qualities. Every person, however bad he is, he has got a lot of good qualities. So try to arrange your workload in such a way that the person who appears to be inefficient may at the same time be given some kind of task in which he may be good at it. Okay? And try to have a very good relationship. There is a small difference between the Western type of, management practices and our Eastern type of management practices. In West, they are very professional, absolutely professional. Whereas in the East, we have got more of empathy. After all, we are from the Eastern civilization. So in my opinion, that we must have a lot of empathy, and we must consider the entire including your employees, that's a family. It's a unit team. So team building is also extremely important. The team has to be built. Now, in a team, there will be various kinds of personalities, various people with different skill sets. So you have to, as a leader, find out that what is the skill set of the people who are working in your enterprise, in your organization. So identifying the proper skill set is extremely important. My dear students, one of the major problems of all the Indian students, starting from IITians, because I have been with IIT for 40 years. 40 years. Out of 40 years, of course, 10 years I was in Shibpur as director, and before that, vice chancellor. But then, during my such a huge, long career, I have seen that this is one of the, weaknesses of many of our students, that they do not write down. This is a general weakness of the Indians. Whatever we listen, we want to keep it in our brain. The difference between an Indian and a Westerner, in fact, somebody, there was a Nobel laureate, his name was Professor Abdul Salam. You might have heard of him. He is the only Nobel laureate from Pakistan. So Dr. Salam, when he came to Pakistan, he visited India. And then he made, you will be surprised that such a big personality, Dr. Salam, made it a point to come to Calcutta, for what? Just to meet his physics teacher in Lahore. His name was Mr. Mojumdar, and that gentleman was 90 years old,
Oh my God.
sleeping in a broken cot in a very small home somewhere near, Behala or Taliganj. Imagine he took the information that where these gentlemen were staying, and he said that whatever physics I have learned today is from Sir. So I must meet him because he is my temple, he is my God. So he made it a point that from Delhi he came to Calcutta, and in Calcutta the first thing laureate, he went to his teacher's house. The teacher was so happy at 90 years old, he was bedridden. He was so happy to see his student after 70 years. When he taught him, he was a college student of 20 years old. So Professor Salam, he wanted to meet 10 young scientists of India. Okay, so those days, two of my friends, I was also young. So two of my friends, they were all physicists. So they got the opportunity to meet Dr. Salam. So out of these 10. So he was one of my friends, he was mentioning, and then he told me that, I asked Dr. Salam that, Dr. Salam, if as an Indian researcher, if I ask that what will be your, two advices to us, to the young Indian researchers, what will be your advice? And the first thing Dr. Salam said that, look, do not use the term India or Pakistan. He used to call it a subcontinent. He said, I do not believe in fragmentation. To me, the whole humanity is same, especially these two countries are same. So use the term subcontinent. And he was always using the term subcontinent. So he said that, look, I have got many Western students from Europe and from America. and many students from subcontinent, that is from India and Pakistan. So I have seen one of the major weaknesses in you. That is, you never keep the things in writing, in written form. If you just go back to you, your own, habits, you will find that most of the Indians, when you are listening to somebody, now of course you can once again listen it because these days it's a digital day. So in digital world, you need not write down everything. But then those days we did not have any opportunity of learning anything later on because we were from the analog world and you are in the digital world today. So anyway, but then in today's world even, just it is extremely important that whatever you are doing, try to write it down. Whatever is your small experience, write it down. Whatever are the different techniques of cooking, or if you find a good practice of hospitality management, just write it down. Because remember that it will help you to a very large extent in future. So writing down, what is the utility of writing down? One of the things is when you write down something today, in fact, personally speaking, I also don't have the habit. And when I was working in the American industry, on the very first week that Friday, we used to have a Friday evening meeting, and I was the head of the research division. So I found that excepting me, everybody, all the other group leaders, they have come with a pen and a pad, and whatever is being talked about, they are writing down. So I learned it that okay, that way. From next week, I also started carrying that because to us, to me, it appeared that okay, whatever they are doing, they are telling it's ठीक है, these are known. Maybe that it's all known, but then there are many things which will be of your use, not today, maybe tomorrow. So it's extremely important that things should be written down and analyzed. So remember that it is the power of analysis which makes a great leader. So analyzing a thing, that is very, very important. Analyzing that what went wrong. Suppose in life, in many of your projects, you may find that okay, something didn't work out properly. So you have to analyze. So analysis based on what? Based on the circumstances, whatever has happened. And if you can write down today's events and then finally how the company or how the enterprise or how you came out of that problem, maybe 2-3 years later, this experience in a written form may be of great use to you. So this is very important, that writing and analysis. Now for analysis, today's world, you need analytics. There are a large number of softwares which are known as analytics software. I'll talk about some analytics software in hotel industries, in hospitality industries. These are all, computer-based analytics which will come later on. So then, team building I have touched upon, good relationship I have touched upon. And if somebody in your team is feeling frustrated, your first job will be to inspire him. Even as a student in a class, if somebody is a little bit, not in good mood, so as friends, you must, try to encourage him, try to give him enough of, stimulation. The teachers, they constantly do it. And this is extremely important, that we have to inspire the students. You have to inspire your colleagues, you have to inspire your team members, etc. No one should get stressed up. If you find that somebody has got stressed up, please take care of him immediately. Tell him again, the same kind of things that in life, at the end of the life, if you are hardworking, if you are sincere, you will win. There is no force, and God will really help you in getting the things. So treat others as your. So there's a big, very important message from the Bible, which says that you must love your neighbors as thyself. So once I was in Trivandrum, my roommate, I was a student those days during my internship days when I met Dr. Kalam in VSSC Trivandrum. It's in Thumba in Kerala. So so two of us, we were the students from IIT Kharagpur. So my roommate was Mr. Peter. So every day morning, I used to get up with this message of Bible. Peter used to get up before me at 5:30, and he will read the part of Bible where it is written that help thy neighbors as thyself. Always remember that you must have empathy. You must help your team members. You must help everybody around you, because this is the need of the hour. Share your ideas. If you have got a good idea, share it with your friends, with your colleagues. Remember that by sharing your knowledge or your ideas, it never gets divided. Rather, as you share more and more, it gets multiplied. Like love, if you love more, then it gets multiplied. So sharing is very important, and sharing good ideas. And let there be meetings. Through meetings, you can share your ideas with mine ideas and all. A very important other things I was talking about is tomorrow's hotel or hospitality industrial scenario. Remember that they will be changing, because in the world today there is only one thing which is constant and which is truth. What is that? Change. As you can see that one coronavirus has changed the whole world. Today, could anybody living today anywhere in the globe could not think about, just not in the wildest of thinking, that in my lifetime I will have such a time when for months together, from March it started, today it is August, and it may jolly well take at least 1 year full. We will be completely locked down at home, doing everything in digital mode, and then the infectivity of such a dangerous virus, nobody could think about. But remember that it has come. We got the experience. So remember that such kinds of things, such kinds of unknown, whether it is a disease, a situation, it will come. But we have to face it boldly. And the most important thing is that when a new such kinds of things come, then not only facing them boldly, we have to think about how to come out of that. Now coming out, so as I said, that change is the only truth in life. So in hotel management, in hospitality management, in the digital world, what kind of changes will come? One of the changes, it has long back come, that I can book my rooms online. Online is a very important thing, where anywhere, much of the activities can be done online. Now, for example, can you think about a situation? In fact, I had once worked with a very interesting problem, and that problem was from one of the world's largest, fast food chain, McDonald's. Now, McDonald, you will like this story. This is not a story. In fact, I worked for one of their projects.
Great.
Now, McDonald, once upon a time, throughout the US and Europe, in India there are not many, especially in Calcutta, I think one or two are there. I haven't seen many. But then in USA and in Europe, there are so many, McDonald's, then like them, lot of other such food chains. I mean, McDonald's, once they found out that during the office hours, that is morning, Americans, even the Europeans also, not all the Europeans, French and Spanish and all, they take food slightly late. Americans invariably 6:30 is their dinner time. 6:30, latest is 7. Now what they do is that while going from the office to home at 6:30, there'll be a huge rush. Now in the West, they have got one channel because everybody has got a car. Unlike in our countries, we just go walking and then get inside a restaurant. It's not like that. So everybody is coming with a car. So there will be huge, traffic of cars inside the McDonald complex. So inside the drive, they call it as drive-in. Inside the drive-in, there are 3 counters. One is known as order counter, where you go and stop your car and place the order. Suppose you say that, okay, 8 fish fillet and chicken nugget 2, and then say Coca-Cola 4, like that. You give this kind of a order. Then just you drive a few more meters, there will be a pay counter. In pay counter, immediately whenever you have placed the order, automatically your bill is ready. You need not spend even a second. So the bill is given to you, automatic, everything, and you pay the dollar. Suppose you have to pay, say, $9. So you pay $10, $1 will come out, you take it. The third counter is known as pickup counter. So you drive the car a little bit more further, few meters, you will find that from the window, your food is ready. So you take the food and then you drive out. You go back, you go out from the other, exit gate. So there are 3 counters. One is order counter, pay counter, pickup counter. So every card, when they are going during the office hours, both in the morning and lunchtime and also in the evening, their dinner time. So they were losing lots and lots of their customers. Why? Because many people, they come and they find that there's a huge queue. So they will drive off. It's known as, this is known as drive through, and drive off means they will go out. Because they will think that, okay, let me go to other such things. There's a Subway next to McDonald's. So you can go to Subway and you can have something. So McDonald's, they wanted that there should be a camera, outdoor camera. So through the camera, they were constantly taking the photographs. And I'm talking about almost 20 years back. So this was a project which I had done for McDonald's. So very interesting project that through that camera, you have to find out how many cars are there in the queue and how many, you have to write a software, a program to find out that how many cars have gone out. So drive out. Okay. And then McDonald's, they estimated that every day they are losing some almost thousands of dollars only because of the fact that many people are driving off because they are going out of the queue. Because they have got, their time is very important in the Western world. So they decided that, okay, so automatically if you can have a queue length estimation using your camera, a surveillance camera, then if there's a bigger queue, then somebody will manually start giving them the food. Somebody will come manually take the order and manually take the money from him, and manually the whole food will be given to them. So these are interesting kind of things. Now in tomorrow's world, there will be lots and lots of such things which are coming even in the hotel industry, in the hospitality industry, because more and more digital way it will go. For example, you have gone to a hotel. Inside the hotel room, there will be sensors. The hotel room is a little bit hot. It's a little bit sultry. The humidity sometimes may be very high. So what should be done? As a leader, you should think about placing a lot of sensors inside the hotel room. Temperature sensor, humidity sensor. If it's very humid, then you have to take care of that. If it's very hot, then immediately, automatically, maybe the AC will be on. AC will not be on all the time. Okay, you have to have a device where you can find out that how much amount of carbon dioxide content is there inside the room. So that if there's a huge number of people, then it cannot sustain. So technology is coming in a very big way, and remember that we have to take care of the technological needs of tomorrow. To become a great leader and a very good leader, remember that you must be having an idea to estimate, and the most important thing is to predict. So in today's world, when you are analyzing something, it's known as predictive analytics. You have to predict that what is going to come tomorrow, what is going to come after 6 months, what is going to come after 2 years. So short-term prediction is extremely important. You have to predict that in which way I should diversify so that my company should make better profit, so that my enterprise will make better profit. What kind of a new thing I should have in my hotel or hospitality enterprise so that we can have much more, after all, at the end of the day, yeah. So it will be a better scenario tomorrow.
Yes.
So I think that I have already crossed the time that you had asked for.
No problem. So
So-
actually, maybe the list of the students are less here, but I can see in the Facebook almost 5,000 students are watching your video, sir. To be honest, I can see as we have 33 lakhs followers.
is it?
Yes, sir. We have in Guru Nanak IHM, we have 33 lakhs followers in our Facebook page. So almost 5,000 people are watching you live, and they are listening you, and they are giving some good comments as well. If you see our Facebook page later on, you'll be seeing the number of students who are watching carefully about the lecture which you are providing now. So I have one question to you. Sir, you made CEOs like Sundar Pichai. I have heard this. So I'll take this opportunity to hear from you that what are the qualities you saw in him. As Sundar Pichai, all the students must be knowing, is the CEO of Google. And sir, what are the qualities you have seen in him? Means as you saw him from the very
yeah, in fact, from IITs, we have lots of CEOs of various, top companies of the world. And Sundar Pichai is obviously one of the most prominent figures. Now, I have seen them all as students. Frankly speaking, whatever they are doing now, many of them are doing now, those things we were teaching in IITs in early 1980s. Imagine, and those days I still remember that many of them were asking a simple question, sir, will it at all be possible? Because those days in 80s, it used to be like, a dream. That is it possible to really predict something like this? Is it possible to have a machine which can understand your handwriting? Okay, I said that, okay, I still remember, And Sundar Pichai was also in my hostel, in my hall. I was the warden of Nehru Hall
Okay.
when Sundar Pichai was a student. So one of his friends, I had been to Google in 2017, but unfortunately Sundar was in Japan that time. But I met all his friends, all his batchmates, including two of them who had brought Sundar to Google. So I met them, had a very nice time with them. So it was in 2017. But after that, this year I was supposed to go, but then because of COVID, we could not go to USA. Otherwise, generally, every year we try to go once. My son and daughter both are there in USA. So Sundar, one thing from IITs we wanted to teach them that do not be only confined with a small narrowness of whatever is there in the syllabus or even course, but then have a much broader mind. So this is extremely important, especially in today's world. Okay, so broad mind and a broad heart, these two are extremely important today. And broad mind means that you have to think that in today's world, there is no partition. So this is something which at least I have been trying to teach my students for a long time, that you cannot say that, okay, this is mechanical engineering, this is civil engineering, this is physics, this is chemistry. Now everything has become interdisciplinary. Even in hotel management,
Yes, sir.
whatever
Subjects
you
like
win,
culinary arts, yes, front office, food and beverage management, housekeeping. So the students have to learn all together in a
right, all together, and then there is a lot of science in it,
exactly,
and then there is a lot of technology in it.
exactly.
Maybe that togetherness. So if you can, merge some of the technological and scientific aspects to hotel. In Shipur, from Tata Steel, they have presented me. In Shipur we have got a canteen. We call it as Tata Canteen. When I was the director, I had invited them. So they said, "Sir, we have got a very new kind of a material. Using that, that was the first smart canteen in India." I always, I always have a slightly bigger dream, because if you do not have dream, you cannot go move up. So to the students also, I would tell that be a dreamer. Always try to dream big, think big, so that you can implement. Even if you can implement a part of it, that also will be a big thing. So in Shipur, in IST Shipur, they had built a canteen using a very novel kind of very lightweight material for the first time. Now it's very good, it's fire retardant material and a canteen. I said that, okay, we'll make this canteen a smart canteen. What does it mean? That means from inside we will keep lot of sensors, as I mentioned, temperature sensor, humidity sensor. On one side of Shipur is Ganges. So sometimes from Ganges, lot of there will be wind. So wind velocity sensor. So it's very interesting. And then we thought that all these sensors, along with the number of people visiting, will be automatically counted using a digital camera. So everything will be transported. The data will be transferred to Tata Steel. There will be one monitoring unit and one will be in our institute attached to the hotel. Where, the big hotels in India, they can do it. Always they can do it. For example, they can say that, okay, in this time, there are more number of people than expected, and they can tell that you take care of that. Suppose how much amount of carbon dioxide accumulation is there. These are all very important kind of things. From the images, you can find out in COVID time whether the people are maintaining the social distancing or not, simply from online surveillance video camera. And then from there, automatically, these kind of things can be transmitted. So all that I want to tell, when I was their warden, I always had the knack of doing something new. So in IIT, there was no hostel where there was a, foara, that fountain.
Fountain, yes.
So I said to the students one day that, okay, let's make one. Nehru Hall should be the first hall to have a fountain, colored fountain. And imagine it was 92, 93 or 91, 92, 93. Sundar, I think, did his BTech in 93 as far as I remember. So during all those 2-3 years of his final 2 years or 3 years, I was the warden of his hall. So they did make that, and then the hotel, the hostel, it started looking much better, so that you can have a colored fountain in front of your hotel or your establishment or whatever it may be. So please remember that tomorrow's world will be having lots of new things and new changes. So what will a hotel of say 2040 look like? How will it look like? Will it remain the same or will it be different? If it is different, then in what way it should be different? So innovation is the main thing, and innovative ideas is again another very important attribute of the good leader. Good leaders must be very good innovators. So he should know that, okay, what's going to come and what will be good to the people. Here there is a aesthetics part, taste part, architecturally it should be good, technologically it should be modern technology oriented hotel or hospitality, whatever it may be, and above all it should be very friendly to the customers, customer friendly, because customers are gods so far as such kinds of hospitality or hotels are concerned. Always remember that our only major objective is to satisfy the customers. If customers are satisfied, then everything is good. And a large part of that satisfaction comes through the behavioral training. You must behave in a very nice way. In some hotels, we find you go there for something. I do not have a charger. Oh, you do not have. Oh, we don't keep chargers. That should not be the answer. No negative things. Yes, sir, we do not usually have a charger, but let me see. So that should be the, never say no to any of the queries. Always, as I said, much. I mean, you cannot help if it is not there. But then at least the person knows that you have tried, and then you say that, sir, I'm very sorry that at this point I cannot do it. So, okay, the customer will be happy that he has really tried, but then he could not make it. You can also say, sir, you will be here tomorrow also, so tomorrow I will arrange a charger for you. Like that, small things, but it makes lot of
Thanks.
sense.
Thanks.
So,
Yes,
any other question?
yes, sir. So last question I have from our end. So in our hospitality management college, we are teaching core skills like culinary arts, food and beverage management, housekeeping, front office, etc. in our college. Apart from these skills, we are also emphasizing on sales and marketing skills, accounts, financial management, entrepreneurship skills, digital marketing, business development management, business management, hotel law, human resource management, food science, etc. So that students can get an holistic approach for the entire career set. So how will you evaluate it, sir?
Oh, that's excellent. I'm really very happy that you have been teaching your students some of the most important things. For example, you talked about the finance part, because finance is so important today, financial management, that everything depends on the financial allocation, the proper financial planning and all. And you are teaching means it's a very good thing. And today it is said that all the engineers, all the management students, everybody must know finance. So financial management you are teaching them. You are teaching them along with the other very important core subjects.
Yes, sir.
Some of the things you mentioned, those are extremely important, and those surely should be considered as almost the compulsory kind of subjects for hospitality management courses. So very good, excellent. You are
Okay.
really
So thank you very much, sir. So I would ask the
okay.
students.
But then at the end,
Yes, sir.
to conclude, I must say that all the best to all the students, to all the participants who are watching this Facebook and
Yes, sir.
video,
Yes, sir.
and my best wishes to each one of you for a very happy, healthy, and a very bright and prosperous future tomorrow.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
Thank you.
Everything will be good
Thank you,
and
sir. Thank you very
be
much.
happy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Thank you.
much. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.